Hey everyone, we're back with the Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast. Welcome back everyone. In this topic today, we're going to go over about airplane detailing. This podcast is brought to you by Wings Mobile Detailing franchise opportunity as well.
Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezzalera.
Detailers, business owners, or airplane owner, perhaps. If you own an airplane, I'm going to give you a story of when we first, years ago, started providing detailing services for airplanes and how to do that. What's the difference between just detailing a regular vehicle and an actual airplane or helicopter, any type of aircraft, pretty much. So in this podcast, I'm going to go over my story, pretty much how we started providing the service and the challenges that we had to overcome and learn, the lessons we learned, the differences between detailing the airplane. So first of all, it was a few years back when we detailed our first airplane, and it was challenging. It was a mono engine, with one propeller in the front of the plane. It was a four-seater. It wasn't a big, private jet airplane or anything, huge. In this particular case, our client found us through the website to start with, right? So Wings Mobile Detailing, our clients can book our services through mostly the website or through our app. It's always nice detailing planes that because you can also, we can also promote a lot on social media, and consequently, if people see our work, see pictures of us detailing cars, the clients online when we post to social media, it's different when you post pictures of you detailing airplanes. Even clients that want their car detailed and they see on the website that your company also detail airplanes, it's a huge benefit because they tend to trust more. They see, if they detail an airplane, they're pretty good at what they do. They're pretty trusted. So they're probably going to do a great job at our car. And that's what we do. With airplanes, though, I was surprised to learn that there are not really many differences between detailing airplanes and cars. Of course, the size it's a lot bigger, so the price will be different. But as far as actually providing the detail services, the product we use, it doesn't have to be that different. Because believe it or not, the finish, the paint of an airplane is pretty similar than a regular vehicle, than a car. They have the paint, the clear coat, and that's pretty much how cars are. It's different than boats, and RVs. Boats and RVs, they're usually fiberglass, so it's not actual metal painted with clear coat. It's a fiberglass. Consequently, you would have to have a different paint and gel coat in this case. But for airplanes, a lot of times it's a thicker and stronger clear coat. The same way it's painted, the same finish that you find on cars. Hence, you apply the same type of protection products you use on a car, you can use on an airplane as well. So, starting with detailing an airplane, we always use the 2-bucket method. Rinse first before we do the detail, the wash. We want to get any grime that's on the aircraft, right? You don't have road grime, but you're still going to have dust and tar on the aircraft, which you have to first rinse it off before you go with a wash mitt. So make sure to foam gun the aircraft, rinse it first, and then we go ahead and foam it so that the soap can bring down all the dirt that's on the surface of the finish of the aircraft. And then we go ahead and follow up with the wash mitt and start the wash process. The soap that we use, yes, it is the same soap that we use for regular cars. So we like to use either Meguiar's, the chemical guys, automotive soap. It has to be, of course, automotive. Those types of soaps we can use that are pH balanced. That way we're not removing an existing protection that's already on the finish. So after the wash mitt, we dry regularly with the chamois. Now, before we dry in the washing process, there are things that you have to avoid and watch out for when detailing planes. One of which is called the pitot tube. The pitot tube is a small metal tube that comes out from the body of the airplane, usually on the front. It's a tube that comes out and points forward. On smaller airplanes, you may find that tube on the left wing. So that tube measures the airspeed, and it's usually heated. So it's a very small tube, and coming out from the front of it, there's a little hole, and that hole cannot be clogged. So in this case, the team always likes to cover up that tube before even start rinsing up the plane. Usually, it's already covered up with a very shiny red cover on it existingly, but if it's not covered, then you want to make sure to cover it up, that tube. So that is what measures the airspeed. Now there's one more thing for usually smaller aircrafts, smaller airplanes. The front windshield is made out of plexiglass. So in that case, plexiglass is different than glass. Glass is really way harder than plexiglass, harder to scratch, like you see on regular vehicles. You can wash it. You can go to town with it, even, polish, apply protection, sealant, wax, and all that. With plexiglass on these smaller aircraft, you really have to, they're more soft material, so it's a lot easier to scratch. So you want to be careful when washing or cleaning up that plexiglass. Your towel, with any glass that you're washing, your towels are always going to have to be clean, of course, always clean. But in this case, you have to pay extra attention and be extra careful, because plexiglass, even if your towels are clean, anything that you have on the towel, tiny particles of dirt on the towel, and you go out with your window cleaner, which is something that you also want to see to avoid. But if you do that, it's easy to scratch. So you have to be real careful, because, of course, it's an airplane. It's not cheap to replace an entire front windshield of an airplane. Now, everything else, when it comes to that, we have the airplane completely detailed, the wing, while we're washing and wash mitting that wing area. You don't want to move the flaps manually with your hands. Just avoid putting too much pressure to where you're moving those flaps on the wings. But go to town, don't be afraid. You can really clean it carefully if you follow those methods. You can go to town and clean the plane really well, and then follow up with a protection. Now, after the plane has been dried up with the chamois and everything, what you do want to apply is, like a car, you want to protect the paint. So you can apply an aircraft wax, which really, the composition of those so-called aircraft wax and sealant protections, pretty much the same composition, the same ingredients that you'll find on a regular wax for a car. Right, a lot of times brands are gonna name those wax or sealant for aircraft differently, and name, this is only for aircraft. And if you look at the ingredient list, you're gonna see it's exactly the same product, exactly the same composition as you'd find on a regular wax. It's just the branding. The branding doesn't change what's inside the product. However, but if you feel safer to use those, you can go ahead. We like to use specifically ones that are called for aircraft, but we are aware that the ingredients are really the same. So it's good to follow up with a protection. Wax doesn't last as long as a sealant does. Wax is more of a shine enhancement that lasts between 1-2 months, sometimes even a few weeks. But sealant is really a really great protection. Can last up to a year. Really protect from sun ray, UV rays, from corroding the finish and consequently losing its shine. So you do want to have that protection of a sealant. Better yet, way better than a sealant would be ceramic coating that you want to have applied professionally. Usually ceramic coating, you do want to have it done professionally by a reputable company that offers a much better protection. Now, the sealant that you would use, you can go with applied by hand with an applicator pad or a polisher dual action buffer machine. We like to apply the sealant by hand. It doesn't change much. When I say by hand, of course, you get a pad and apply it, and then apply wax or apply sealant, and then buff it off with a dry, clean microfiber towel. Always using microfiber towel in this situation. But as far as polishing as well, if there is scratches on the plane the wing, everywhere around the plane. We can also go with the dual action machine polish. When it comes to the product for polish, we do like to use the 3D, the HD speed one. It's a great one to remove light surface scratches as well. And when it comes to polish, you pretty much are polishing just like a car. You're polishing all the finish, all the paint, the wing, the body of the plane, and any chrome area. Usually you might find chrome around the wings of the plane, or any details. The engine as well, around, not inside, of course, around the engine. For a jet engine aircraft, you don't want to touch the inside of the jet engine. Those flaps, you don't want to touch that. You don't even need, that doesn't need cleaning. Just around the entrance where it goes in, the fin. And on the back of the engine, which is where the turbine is, also that area inside, what comes from the interior, from the inside of the engine, you also don't want to, you want to soap it lightly, clean, wash it, rinse, but you don't want to polish or apply any sort of protection. You want to make sure it's actually painted areas in which you are applying protection or polishing, or chrome area. It's important to note as well, if you're polishing an airplane, an aircraft, even if it's those four-seater small mono engine, Cessna, for example, those Cessna aircraft, and you're polishing it, you're going to need pads, polishing pads. I like to use those orange one, which is on a medium level for finer scratches, surface scratches, to clean out and bring out the shine, remove any oxidation from it, light oxidation, of course. So those orange pads are usually more on the medium side. It's not too soft, not too hard, but you would want to have multiple pads, and not be working solo, especially if it's for bigger aircraft. You're gonna really spend time there because it takes time. It really takes a lot of time. On one of the jobs that we had a one-person detail on the Cessna-like aircraft, a mono engine four-seater one. In this particular case, it took our technician about 7 to 8 hours to do a detail with sealant application, hand apply sealant with the pad. It's not extreme, but if we were to do in that particular plane a polishing service, machine polish the entire plane, it would probably take about 9 hours to complete on this size plane. It wasn't a small plane, don't get me wrong. It's a good size plane, but it wasn't those, jet engine, private jet like planes either. It was way smaller than that. It's a four-seater. So we also perform detail on the interior of the plane, in which I'm gonna get to right now. Detailing the interior, you have all your instrument cluster there with all the buttons and everything. So all around that, you want to go with a soft brush and an interior cleaning product. It's the same material, guys. So for cleaning interior of airplanes, all of those instruments, the console, the dash, the materials are plastic, leather. It's the same materials that you find on cars. So hence, you're going to use the same product, an interior cleaning solution. We like to use the one from Malco product, I believe, interior cleaning and detail, and go with a soft brush, just like we use in regular cars, so we're not damaging the buttons of the car. And we dust it off first, and then spray the product on our very soft brush, massage it through around the buttons. We're not pressing anything, and then go with a clean, dry microfiber towel to remove any excess product and remove any streaks from chrome area and all those instrument clusters. Leather seats as well, just like a regular car. We like to use a light clean degreaser, massage through the leather with a soft brush, spraying the product on the brush, massaging it, and drying with a microfiber towel, or sometimes we can also steam clean the leather as well. I do like to avoid using the steam on cleaning the hard surfaces of an aircraft, but only because there's just so many buttons. On a car you have the door, mainly panels, like clean, plain panels. But on aircraft you have a lot of buttons. So avoiding using steam, you don't know where the steam is getting. Consequently, you don't know where the water is going to get through those buttons. So just avoid using steam cleaning, except to use the steaming on the carpeting to shampoo. If you need to shampoo the carpets and the seats, then you can go right ahead. There are no buttons there. And so that goes to our next topic, which is shampooing the carpets and the seats if they're regular seats on an aircraft. I like to use a light degreaser, spray it, scrub with a little bit more of a harder brush if it's not leather, and then steam it, and sometimes even extract if it's really bad and I had to use a lot of shampoo product on it. And then dry, make sure it's completely dry with either a water extractor or a microfiber towel as well. Rub it off really well. Now we have a clean airplane. On the windows inside of their glass, of course, you can use the glass cleaner. If they are not glass, if they're the epoxy glass, even if you shoot some water on your towel, if it's in the shade, and clean lightly, so you're not using the glass cleaner on those types of epoxy glass, it's better. So if you're skeptical, as a detailer now I'm talking to, if you're skeptical on realizing that those are epoxy glass, you're skeptical on cleaning, you're afraid of cleaning, it's better not even to clean and explain to the person who you're detailing to the reason you're not cleaning it, because you're epoxy glass. So now you got the interior and exterior of the plane completely detailed, looking beautiful and nice. You got your tire dressing to do. Now for an airplane, right, on a regular car, right guys, on a regular car you would, apply tire dressing at the end, if you do so at the end. But on aircraft, just avoid using tire dressing. You don't want to get any tire dressing on the surface of the wheels, and usually those small Cessna type aircraft, they have small tires, even smaller than a regular car. So you don't want to get any sort of tire dressing on the surface of the tire, for obvious reasons. The plane comes in flying at high speed, and you don't want it to skid off the road, the runway. So you can really try to avoid that. But you can clean the tire, right? Clean the wheel of the plane and clean the tire as well with a tire wheel cleaner product. Scrub it and pressure wash regularly. This is it. Tips. Very basic, simple podcast here, because it is a simple service for those who already understand more of the basics, right, of detailing. I went just a little bit less basic here. If any one of you is interested to becoming a detailer, detailing aircrafts, planes, boats, regular cars, having the schedule and really build out a business to grow, not to be self-employed, but to really grow a big business, then franchising would be the way to go. You guys can learn about the Wings Mobile Detailing franchise opportunity, but it's mainly for those people who wants to actually grow and start to grow, expand it, to a big business, not be self-employed there doing you detailing the cars yourself. This is more differently for those who wants to actually own and grow a big business. The franchise opportunity starts to have a liquid funds, but the price here starts at around $50,000. With $50,000, you can become a Wings Mobile Detailing franchise owner. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this podcast. Subscribe, hit the like button there, and we'll see you next time.